probably are over 50% looking in the mirror.
Oh, already contact on the track. The 00, Cole Custer involved, as well as the 23 of Spencer Gallagher.
You have to run. Oh, you see the 23 out of control up the racetrack trying to save it. The 00 of Custer really has nowhere to go. The 16 of Ryan Reed, very, very lucky. We're only 4 minutes into practice. We already see 2 cars torn up. The 00, you know, at a downforce track, maybe you could make the argument you could work on the fender and have time. But here at Daytona, aerodynamics so important. There's going to be no chance for that car. They're going to have to go to a backup.
And this is what we talked about. How much are you going to gain by running in a group versus the risk of getting in a wreck? So, you know, Cole Custer, he was really back there. He wasn't in a big pack. He was in what you would think was a safe spot. And, you know, certainly there was nothing that Spencer Gallagher could do. Obviously, the left rear tire was down, and there was nothing he could do. So you would think that where Cole Custer was would be a safe place to be, but turned out not to be.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, Chairman of the Board for the USO of Greater Jacksonville, retired United States Navy Captain Bob Buin.
Drivers, start your engines.
I think when you get ready, just take a look at your gauges and switches. Just get real familiar with everything.
And a new pole winner out front again. Green flag in the air. We're underway. Daniel Hemrick in the 21. Trying to help move the 48 and the 2. 48 of Brennan Poole on the inside. 26-year-old out of Woodlands, Texas. Would love nothing more than to lead the first lap at Daytona.
Remember, in these Xfinity cars, the rule is that you cannot push. You can bump somebody, but if you lock bumpers and push, that will be a black flag. So these drivers want to lay the rear bumper, the front bumper to the rear and push the guy, but it is against the rules.
2 by 2 as they came out of 4 and coming to the finish line. They stay 2 by 2, almost a dead heat between Ben Kennedy and Brennan Poole.
Momentum. Will one of them pull out of line to try to get this stage win?
Try to get the stage win and stage points. Top 10 get stage points as they come through 3 and 4. Out in front, it's Blake Cook, Ben Kennedy, Brennan Poole, Daniel Hemrick. They're the top 4 as they come to the stripe. And Blake Cook will win stage 1. You saw it all happen on NASCAR Nonstop as the caution has come out once again. Steve, you predicted it, not for weather, this time for maybe a little too aggressive racing.
Custer checks up a little bit, gets turned sideways, and then behind him it's just they all stack up. And 00 lost a little momentum there from getting free after getting bumped.
Close call by the 11 of Blake Cook. He shoots back up the racetrack. Daniel Suarez in the 18 also involved. Take another look, a closer look.
We see this on restrictor plate races all the time. The problem starts 3 or 4 rows, and then it gets worse as the wreck continues. It's just that accordion effect. It's just like wrecking on an interstate. Somebody slows down, 8 cars behind is when somebody hits somebody. So right there is the initial impact, but no big deal. But just the guys behind them couldn't slow down enough.
92 also slamming into the wall. That was Josh Williams.
Fortunately, there's the Blake Cook came back across the racetrack. Everybody was able to miss him.
Keep coming, keep coming. Pass up on pit road. You all right, buddy?
And the car smoking that was on the apron, we're trying to get a look at that one. It was smoking once it went by the finish line. Take a look then at Cole Custer, that move he makes, and then after he sees it, he's not going to be able to get back out on the track. He takes the ride right down pit road.
Big impacts right here. These cars pushing each other. Obviously, they know they're in trouble. They're just locked up trying to slow the momentum down. You see that safer barrier work very well.
Safer barrier absorbing some of the hit so the drivers don't have to. Take a look at today's Toyota driver updates. Scott Legacy Jr. back in 10th. Eric Jones 12th. J.J. Yaley as they go around. The 51 spins. Jeremy Clements comes back up on the track.
Here, keeper one.
Caution comes out. 15 laps to go.
That all started, and the lap car did nothing wrong. He stayed on the bottom, did nothing right here. See the 13 car on the bottom of the racetrack doing nothing wrong, but it just slows everybody down. Now they're all 3 wide. They all get stacked up. See, Hemmer got loose. 14's loose. Pretty good job there, but
well, I think this car, or this right here, actually kind of starts the stack up. But what a nice job right there of saving that race car.
J.J. Yaley in the 14.
And again, just like we talk about on the interstate, this all got bottled up here, and the wreck happened back there. 51 of Jeremy Clemens.
I had J.J. Yaley wrecking for sure. He saved his, though, and somehow Jeremy Clemens just getting out of the gaskets turned around.
It appears to me that it's easier to get runs from both the bottom.
Oh, around goes the 48 of Brendan Poole. He was running second. He collects the 3 of Ty Dillon. Caution comes out again.
Unbelievable that those cars don't go back up the racetrack and only 2 cars were involved. We've seen this, Jeff, time and time again. The accidents come from the front of the field.
And not too bad of damage on the 48 of Brendan Poole. The 3-car Ty, his damage is much worse. They just got misaligned. The 9 of William Byron was pushing the 48 of Brendan Poole, and you saw the 48 move. He made a move, and when he did, they no longer were lined up, and that shoved the 48 into being sideways.
Jeff, you know, the tri-oval isn't, you know, talked about like a corner, but the cars get very light. So right here on the straightaway, as they get into the tri-oval, like you said, they just get misaligned. And right here, it amazes me. So fortunate that the 48 goes back down the racetrack. Those cars to his right, there's nowhere for them to go. If he comes back up the racetrack, it turns into a multi-car crash.
See, right here, Brendan Poole almost looks like he wanted to move to the outside to make a move, and it just misaligned the bumpers, and the 9 of William Byron's behind him and spins him around. But Steve, your point about the tri-oval is right. The worse the car drives is in the tri-oval.
9. Yep, 00 in your lane. Stay 45. Back down.
It's just such an odd place on the racetrack, Rick. You're turning the wheel, but there isn't the vertical load of the banking to help the grip. And you see how light that 48 car was. And the poor 3 of Ty Dillon, he was doing nothing wrong, riding in his lane, trying to probably back up to the 1 to get a run, and the 48 comes across his bumper.
Yeah, I want to be clear. When I said it looked like the 48 of Poole was trying to make a move to the outside, I don't think he was. It looked like he was, but that was because William was pushing him. And in the trial, the car just isn't loaded. It doesn't have the downforce. It doesn't have the 16 down.
Hard into the wall goes the 33. He collects the 5 of Michael Annette. Caution comes out. Numerous cars get caught up in this one. Brandon Jones in the 33, Michael Annette in the 5. The 2 of Ben Kennedy.
You see right here, Brandon Jones is just pushing, trying to get that run, pushing Eric Jones in front of him, who's into the rear bumper of Ryan Reed. And basically the push just gets too much. Justin Allgaier pushes the back of Brandon Jones. He gets into the outside wall, and from there, it's a chain reaction.
And you may say, well, why does Justin Allgaier get in there and push when, you know, the line in front of you is getting stacked up? Because you can't see. You have no idea what's going on 2 cars in front of you. So Justin Allgaier, he just knows he needs to push Brandon Jones. He's got to push him to make something happen, but he can't see the cars in front of him are having trouble.
And you see right here, this is what happens. They just get stacked up. The 20 is into the 16, the 33 is into the 20, and that's all it takes. He kind of either loses a little momentum or the 7 just hits him too hard. They spin around, and these cars behind, there's just nothing they can do. Very fortunate that 33 stayed on his wheels. You see the 42 through the grass. You know, this is always the concerning point. When cars start hitting other cars, we see them climb up and get airborne. Luckily, all these cars stayed on the ground.
It's plate racing. It's Steve, you said they're all racing. They're racing for their teams, their fans. This is the nature of plate racing. You have to push. You have to shove. If you don't, your line never moves. But when you do push and you do shove, we have these incidences. And it's, listen, once this wreck starts, it's, as a driver, you know, it's a terrible feeling. You're hoping you don't hit anything hard. You mentioned it. We've seen so many incidences where cars start flipping. It's a terrible feeling for a driver.
Riding along at 100 miles an hour with the bat cam. And you see the wreck almost come back to the camera there as they slowed way down.
Wow, look at the 23 car there on the bottom, going through the grass.
And this is the shot. You see the cars dancing side to side, trying to get position, and then the 33 just gets spit out of line that quick. And from there, the major crash, and then all of these crew members, everyone that works on all of these cars right here, this is where the disappointment of speedway racing comes in. The long walk from pit road back to the hauler, knowing you had a chance. You built a car, you came down here, you worked all weekend long, your spotter, your driver were communicating, and one car pushes another, and they all crash.
Where you are. Come through there.
That was from Matt Tiff's perspective, 19 car.
Look at all the grass inside the car.
Yeah.
All the crush panels get knocked out of the car, and just everything flies inside.
Hands the field off to
You go as
William
early as you
Byron.
can.
Green flag back in the air, and already problem for Eric Jones, not able to get up to speed. We're in overtime, sponsored by Credit One Bank.
We discussed fuel in the 20 right there. Looks like it just didn't go. Perhaps doesn't have any fuel or just an air pocket as the leaders go into turn one. That has definitely hurt the outside line. William Byron now has the lead.
And right away, the one of Elliott Sadler jumped into that outside line. After William Byron had the lead, Elliott Sadler decided, I'm going to go for this win as well as they come to the overtime line. Oh, and wrecking behind them. The field, did they get to the overtime line before the caution came out? That will be the question.
Don't let them get to you.
William Byron was out front. The question is, did they get across the overtime line before the caution came out? We're hearing from NASCAR that they did cross. William Byron crossed the overtime line before the caution came out. William Byron is going to win this race. Back-to-back wins for the 19-year-old.
To go around one more time, right? Just cross the cars up in front of you, man. Save gas. Don't let nobody pass you.
You see the caution light up above. They had already crossed past the overtime line. The wreck happened behind them. And then the caution comes out.
And you have to throw the caution. I mean, there's a huge wreck on the back straightaway. You can't send these cars back around through that wreck under green. So throwing the caution is a no-brainer here.
Well, we saw with Eric Almirola with his injury at Kansas that the assumption of any sort of injury is a mistake. Anytime you have any sort of contact like that, NASCAR has to assume they need to dispatch safety vehicles, not to mention the debris on the racetrack.
William Byron out front. The wreck happens behind him.
You know, Rick, it was kind of jumbled up from the word go. I mean, on board here with Scott Lagasse Jr. Look, he's looking to that third lane, trying to get this run. And the zero of Garrett Smithley either didn't know he was there or thought he could block that run. He moved up the racetrack, came across the nose. I mean, right there, you can clearly see the yellow car back about 5 or 6 rows. The zero comes across his nose. That's all it takes.
And the celebration beginning now for William Byron. Donuts in the infield at Daytona.
Put the emergency brake on there.
Pulls the helmet off, and we're right there with him. Marty.
And Ricky kind of forgot to put the emergency brake on. The car was rolling there. Cool to celebrate right here with the fans, isn't it?
Man, it's awesome. These Daytona fans are really cool. Came here for a Daytona 500 when I was a kid. This is so cool to win at Daytona. I can't even imagine it. The guys brought a great JRM car, and hopefully this is a good sign. Hopefully Dale can get it done tomorrow. So this is really cool for our team, and just really proud of everybody.
Is it crazy to think that 8 days ago you had 0 Xfinity wins, now you have 2? What was a key move? Because as your crew chief said, there were some veteran moves out there this afternoon.
Yeah, probably just getting the bump square. With the smaller spoil in the back, you have to make sure you're square. And I just got a few really good bumps by the 16 car, the 1 car, everybody out there. So just really awesome to win at Daytona. Can't thank Exalta enough, Liberty University, everybody on this car.
And folks may forget, you pitted 4 times today, way more than anyone else. You had to come from the back to the front twice today. How did you do that?
I don't know. I mean, we had a couple little issues and stuff. You know, we had to drop to the back at the beginning of the race, but I feel like I've been here forever, so this feels really good to get the win, and just thankful for everybody. Thankful for the fans.
I was going to say, what do you want to say to these fans? They're right here listening to you.
It's awesome, man. Thanks for the support. I mean, to see this many fans out here after 2 days is really cool, so thank you guys.
The 19-year-old from Charlotte, North Carolina wins here at Daytona, and you know what, Rick? He still lives at home with his mom and dad. We'll see you in Victory Lane in just a minute, William. He's going to go grab that flag.
Parents could not be more proud.
For the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, retired 4-star general with the U.S. Army and former NATO Supreme Allied Commander Europe, Wesley Clark.
Drivers, start your Sunoco Green E15 powered engines made with American ethanol.
Get fired up when you're ready.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., Chase Elliott making up row one. The pace car has made its way to pit road. The field in the hands of Jr. Green flag in the air. We're underway from Daytona. Great perspective as we see the bat cam going down the backstretch at 100 miles an hour. That camera moves from one point to the next. Dale Earnhardt Jr. moved up the racetrack. Chase Elliott came down, fighting for the lead as they come out of 4 for the first time.
Dale Jr. got such a great restart that he had so much gap between he and the second row that when they ran him down at such a rate that he could not block Chase Elliott.
Said he would about him. He said, you know
Smoker
what?
off at turn 4, Marty. We got a smoker coming off at turn 4. That's the 15 going around DJ Kennington. And you see the hood flap that has come off of this car.
That looks like a major engine expiration to me. Fire out the pipe, smoke everywhere, probably spun in his own oil. I mean, that is a major explosion. You'd almost see a trail of fluid that he spun in coming to a stop.
You see the smoke coming out of the pipes, clear indication it's an engine problem. That's the third engine problem we've seen already on lap 15. So not real sure what's going on, but 3 on lap 15, that is a high rate of attrition.
Well, and you know, Jeff, if there were more than 40 cars that were here, right, it's unbelievable. If there was more than 40 cars, you would think they'd be pushing the engines, but I don't understand there. But big break for the 11 of Denny Hamlin, going to save his lap.
He needed to have a caution come out. He got one.
Yeah, I do not like the bottom. It ain't been that good. I mean, 3 wide is never good. No, not on the bottom. That guy behind you can only get to you for a short second, then he shoves you out there, then you have no help again, and you're at their mercy because your quarter panel's like, here I am, come get me.
For the finish of stage 1. Stage 1. Brad Keselowski. He will win stage 1. Dale Earnhardt Jr. second.
Caution, caution, caution.
That is the third stage win for Brad Keselowski.
Born in the 14, he finished 4th in this stage. He needs those stage points. He's right on the bubble of making the playoffs on points. They're going to do 4 tires, 2 rounds down to help a tight on exit here.
But trouble for Ryan Blaney. Misses his pit stall right by the board, has to abort in front of Joey Logano. Contact between the 2 cars. We'll have to check on damage when we return to Daytona.
88 and the 2 had made a little contact indoors, and Rick, almost a near wreck there.
Yeah, a couple cars had to rocket down pit road. They're going over 190 miles an hour as they go down pit road. They'll try to come back onto the racetrack, and they will work their way back onto the racetrack.
You see all the other numbers on pit road illuminated with those LED lights. The 41s is certainly much darker and tougher to see.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. up against the wall. Something wrong with the 88. He got stuck up against the wall and now dragging on the right front.
2, stay up there. Stay up there. 3 more cars. 2 more cars. 1 more car. Clear, clear, clear to the bottom here.
No caution yet.
Looks like right front, Greg.
Denny Hamlin Running first, Matt Kenseth third, Kyle Busch fourth, Eric Jones seventh. Kyle Busch, he's on his third crew chief as the caution has come out. And the 33 smoking. That's Jeffrey Earnhardt behind the wall quickly.
Knock her down, get her rolling here if you can. Got KO'd.
And the big one happens at Daytona. Kyle Busch goes around in front of 3 or 4 other cars, collecting them, and the caution comes out again.
We are closing into the end of this stage, just inside 10 to go. The momentum was kind of building. Everybody was trying to work their way to the front. You see Martin Truex Jr. leaving the scene. Heavy, heavy damage on the 78. The 18 was the first car around for sure.
Take a look at what happened.
Follow along Kyle Busch. Little wiggle right there. I think he had a problem. That thing just turned around on him right in front of the field. So look at all the big impacts, all the smoke. I didn't see any contact before he went around. I saw him wiggle, and then the car turned around sideways.
Well, in front of the field was the key. This is the fear when it comes to Daytona. The accident in the middle of the pack. You have to be committed. You have to be wide open. Look how fast that happened. Joey Logano, a hard impact into Kyle Busch. You see the 42 of Kyle Larson, the 78 of Martin Truex Jr.
He was
many cars damaged.
He was right in front of his brother. Kurt Busch was just behind him when he wiggled. Let's take a look riding along with Dale Jr.
We're on board with Kyle Larson there. He locks it down, spins it to the inside. I don't see him hit anything too different. Nope, looks like just some minor damage.
Joey Logano just nowhere to go. I mean, it happened so quickly. All you can see is smoke. You heard him lift. He saw that the nose of that car pointing the wrong way. Oh no, what am I going to do? Lift, lift, lift. Gets into it.
And the spotters, you hear them. They're trying to give them information, but they know. I think it looks to me that the 18 had an issue or was having a handling issue. He was losing the car in front of him back against his brother's bumper, and I think the 41 turned around, not on purpose, but the 18 was slowing down, and you just cannot slow down in the packs.
There's no doubt he started. You saw the back of the car. See right there, the car. I don't know. It just like to me, the car went around. It's a hard angle to tell, but obviously either he had a handling issue and he was chasing it, or something happened, but he's definitely got loose before he got touched. Parker.
Guys, you are correct. He did have a problem. He had just come on the radio the lap before and said, check the left rear for a rub. They said, looks okay. Well, I think it was rubbing. Maybe had the left rear going down.
Wow, we got lucky there. He sure did. Yeah, I could smell it. I hate it for him. Yeah, he's not real happy with the 95.
And he thought his brother Kyle would have problems with the 95. Well, here's what we see. We see the 95 of Michael McDowell, the 18 of Kyle Busch side by side, heading down the front stretch. And right here, the 95 comes up, the 18 comes down a little bit, and that is a bad place to make contact. The tailpipes, Rick, come out on the right side, just in front of that tire. Very easy to hurt that left rear tire on the 18.
Kenseth now separated almost by 2 car lengths in front of the 48 and the 11. Through 3 and 4, coming to the end of stage 2. Matt Kenseth is going to dominate this one. Kenseth gets the win. Second stage win for Matt Kenseth. Brennan Gaughan, as we were talking about him being up in the top 6, got up into the wall. Take another look.
Wow, big impact. See the hood on the 41 car actually raised up when they made that contact.
Yeah, the 75 of Gaughan was coming down, and you see now the right front has blown out and the caution has come out. After making contact with the wall, the right front fender blown out. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the highest scored car a lap down, more than likely received the free pass.
And so he's a really good road course, a really good super speedway crew chief, knows what he's got. 3 wide, we're reckoning.
Oh, around goes the 24 of Chase Elliott. He had help. Trevor Bayne got caught up with him. The caution comes out. Damage to the left side of the 24 of Chase Elliott. Damage to the 6 of Trevor Bayne.
It's not bad. Just left rear, guys.
A lot of damage to Trevor Bayne.
Once again, it's, I think, a situation where got 3 wide, and I'm not real sure Michael McDowell knew he was 3 wide. Car jumped up on the outside of him. He went to the right. That pushed him back to the left, ended up getting into Chase Elliott.
And that's the shot. That shows how much these drivers move around in the backstretch. You see left to right, keep changing lanes, and like you mentioned, Michael McDowell in that row was 3 wide. I'm not sure Chase Elliott didn't think he wasn't clear of that row. I'm not sure he thought Michael McDowell was even a concern. Between the two, they made contact, and you see right here, you know, it's moving, and there's nothing he can do. It's spin to the right or spin to the left. Fortunately for the 24, he spun to the left. There's still damage, but much less damage than if it had gone up into the outside wall.
Where he just goes to the top and everybody follows.
Oh, around goes the 4 of Kevin Harvick. Harvick spins around. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is involved. Brad Keselowski involved. Smoke coming out of the 32 of Matt DiBenedetto.
Blew a tire up front.
Blew a tire. That's what it looked like. The 4 just snap spun like a tire went down right in the middle of traffic. You see the 88 bouncing along the backstretch wall. That tells me that something's probably broken in the front suspension.
About 190 mile an hour. See the 4-car wiggle, turns around quickly right in front of her. No, nothing anybody can do. All the smoke, can't see. Hope you get through it.
I'm amazed more cars aren't in an accident like that, Rick, as tidily as their bunch going through the corner. Right here, you're on board with Kevin Harvick, middle of the corner, wide open.
88's going with you. Hey, easy here. Blew a tire, something, hold your brake.
Just a snap spin, and then the reaction behind them. And even the spotter in an accident, calm as could be on the radio.
Calm as he could be. Stay on the brakes. Oh, that's how quick that happened.
Keep coming, buddy.
You can do.
Coming. We're in it, Greg. Might be okay here. There's still wreckage back there in your mirror there. Just flip it around here. We'll take a look at it.
Can't get off the wall.
No, I bet the right front tie rod or something in the right front suspension is broken. You see, he's turning the wheel left, but the car is going right. So the car spins around right there. It sandwiches up to the 88. The 5 of Casey Kane makes an evasive maneuver, goes to the bottom. How about the 41 of Kurt Busch? A hard left to miss Casey Kane. Another hard left to miss the spinning 2 of Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, I don't think Kane or Keselowski ever hit anything. I think they're going to be okay if they can get around without damaging their cars.
Choose lanes as far as which one to stay in front of. It makes it a simpler task. The only problem is, and the 2 of Brad Keselowski into the wall.
Yeah, we heard
Caution is out.
Marty.
We just popped the tire again, guys, so whatever you got to do to fix it. We're okay. Come and see you.
We heard Marty with that report about a tire rubbing, so pretty much assure you the tire's rubbing and cut that right rear tire.
They're going to be able to come to pit road. This also helps everyone else, though, as we see the 2 go around.
Yeah, spectacular spin right here. Obviously, he did have a tire going down. Slides up the racetrack, makes contact with the wall, and he's taking the hard left-hand turn back to the garage. So Brad Keselowski's night will be done from that accident.
And he's come to visit us, and I don't know where to start with this night, Junior. I mean, when you got back up to 6th there, were you thinking we might have a shot at this thing?
Oh, yeah. As soon as we got our lap back, I knew that, you know, anything was possible. And we was kind of drafting right up back through there, and I think the 4 got a flat, and just really had nowhere to go. But it was fun. We had a pretty strong car. We had some gremlins in there. I'm not sure what was going on with that, but we had the toe end messed up. That first deal, we brushed the wall a couple laps earlier, and I thought everything was okay. And then I come through the tribal, and it had a right front going down, and it was trying to spin out. And so I was trying to lift, and really nothing I could do because there's so many guys behind me, and we got into one and hit the wall. But the guys worked on the car. We got our laps back, and was about to have some more fun, get back up in there, mix it up, and then that happened with the 4. But it's been a wild night. I didn't anticipate this much action and this much, torn up sheet metal, but there's still a lot of racing left.
This might not be the last one at Daytona. You never know. But the emotion of this whole evening, if you could kind of sum it up, when we were riding around earlier and you were waving all the fans, you said you didn't expect this. Why?
I just didn't expect all that attention. All week, my phone buzzing all day long with social media going crazy, and everybody talking about this being my last Daytona race. I hope every weekend ain't like this as far as that goes. I mean, but the attention and reaction from the fans makes me feel great, and hopefully we're able to turn that around and back on them the rest of the season and thank them for everything they've done. But I wish we could have had a good finish tonight, if not a win. We were working up in there and having a good time and being aggressive, and wearing out the sides of that race car, but just wasn't to be.
I know you wanted this one for the fans more than anything, right, Junior?
Everything we do is for the fans. You know, when we come here and won in that 3 Wrangler car, that was for Daddy's fans. When we won here in 01, that was for all our fans, all his fans. They're all here. Look, you know, Grand Says is full. Everything we're doing today and all the things that are happening for the rest of this race are for the fans. So hopefully, I think they're getting a great show tonight.
I asked him what it was like this evening. He said, you know what, it felt good to run good.
2-3.
Outside line just did not go through turns 1 and 2. We have the 5 spinning off turn 2.
Casey Kane goes around. If he stays off the wall, nope, we're not going to stay green. The caution comes out right away.
Here, can you get her back here?
Nice job of getting that car stopped. So see Casey Kane get a little bit of push from David Reagan, and
it looks like
too much of a push.
It looks like Casey gets up the racetrack, off turn 2. I don't know if he gets up the racetrack because the 38's pushing him, and then tries to come back down. And it's just too late at this point. It'll be a better vantage point. It seems like Casey, you know, it looks like he's leaving for the middle lane, not the bottom of the backstretch, and the 38 was going to fill that hole.
We mentioned it at the beginning of the show, how important it was for Casey Kane to have a good run, potentially get a win. He had moved up the racetrack and looked like he was trying to come back down, and David Reagan was already there.
Right before that, the 38 gave him a shove. On every corner entry, every corner exit, as we see the 32 with a flat tire.
Yeah, smoke coming out of the 32. He's going to try to stay up and out of anyone's way. The caution now comes out.
You're cleared down. Just hang on to it. You're cleared.
And you see the left front fender completely gone for Matt DiBenedetto. That allows A.J. Allmendinger in the 47 to make the move. He'll get past Jimmy Johnson. And now, falling back just a bit in that inside line, the 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Look at the hands on A.J. Allmendinger. Up in the air goes the 42 of Kyle Larson. Caution comes out. And another contact. Matt Kenseth hits. The 1 of Jamie McMurray flying down pit road. Kyle Larson up in the air right in front of the grandstands. See him removing the steering wheel. A lot of damage to Kurt Busch's 41.
We're done.
Big disappointment. Daytona 500 winner, hoping to come back and defend.
Take a look. This is what happened to the 42.
How did he get back on the ground without flipping?
See right here, he gets down low. The 17 of Ricky Stenhouse tries to fill the upper lane. The 42 tries to block. And as you said, the 42 was destined to go airborne. The roof flaps deployed, setting the 42 back on the ground. And as that happened, the 41 of Kurt Busch crossed the tri-oval, took a hard hit. This is another great action shot right here. Watch this 42. Hits the wall, then gets pushed into the air by the 17. You see the roof flap open. The car sets back on the ground.
The 21 of Blaney, he's in the brakes, just nothing you can do. Remember, Matt Kenseth, Casey Kane had got shuffled back. They got behind this wreck. Matt Kenseth did not get through it. Casey Kane did.
The 41 of Kurt Busch also came back across the racetrack. He hit it very hard into the safer barrier.
If you've ever been on a multi-ton airliner and taken off, those planes take off at 170 miles an hour. We're riding along at over 190 with the 42.
Go outside. Hold it where you got it. Hold it where you got it.
His hands off the wheel for 90% of that. Took his hands off the wheel, hoping not to injure his hands or his wrist.
We're up in front of the 14. Check up.
What a sickening feeling. Looking out the windshield, a car in the air in front of you, not knowing what's going to happen.
That was Ryan Blaney's vantage point. Once again, the 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had filled that hole, and a big hit by the 41 of Kurt Busch. The red flag has been displayed.
Those are the angles that just tremendous impact. The 41 down the, at the bottom of the racetrack, gets caught in the quarter panel, it looked like. So you see him down there on the bottom. The action starts happening on the outside. Then the 41 gets clipped, turns right, up the wall.
One car came up, the other car came down. It's hard for me to see when it first starts. We always want to point fingers right here. They got together, but
I mean, it's simple to me that I think Ricky Stenhouse has committed to the top. I think Kyle Larson was a lane down. He either did not know or thought he could protect against the 17. If I use the wall as a reference, the 17 is running straight. It's the 42 moving to the right, gets onto his bumper. But that's what you do. It's 6 to go at Daytona. You have to protect. You have to be aggressive. If the 42 can squeeze the 17 and perhaps get him to crack out of the throttle, he'll have a run down the front straightaway.
I think it's important to note, though, when these cars are that close, inches apart from side to side, these cars don't track straight. When you get beside another car, it can push your car away. Sometimes it can pull it to it. So sometimes you have no wheel input whatsoever. You get into the guy in front of you. I just think that's close racing late in the race. I agree with you. Stenhouse never moves. He's perfectly straight here. Nevertheless, big impacts.
Come once again at a restrictor plate track. And around goes the 77. Eric Jones slides into the infield. Also the 11 of Denny Hamlin goes around. Caution has not come out yet. Now it does. Eric Jones slid. Denny Hamlin slid. And it was David Reagan that is scored as the race leader now for the restart, and we will be going overtime. Pop out of.
Just pushing Clint Boyer. Gets up the racetrack a little bit. Now he's 3 wide. One car, Jamie Murray, moved down on the side of him, just pushed him to the side. I'm not sure what happened to the 11. I saw the 11 shoot out of the screen. Not sure what made him go to the left, but Jamie Murray, I think, just for some reason darted to the left.
Take a look at the 24 as well with the 11. As we see Eric Jones sliding.
Maybe Jamie got hit from behind. You saw it go to the right, then it went to the left. For some reason, he wasn't turning the wheel like that for no reason. Something, whether he got hit or something happened for sure.
One more time around. Michael McDowell in the 95 running second. A slide by the 24 of Chase Elliott. That's before they get into turn 1. The caution hasn't come out yet. They want him to be able to race back to the checkered flag. Paul Menard now moves up to second. Clint Boyer's in third. Clint Boyer trying to find a line, trying to get some momentum. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. wants to stay right on the double yellow line. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. looking for his second win in the Cup Series. He's going to get it at the biggest stage. Stenhouse Jr. wins at Daytona. This moment presented by Sunoco, fueling victories all season long. Stenhouse Jr. on this 4th of July weekend, helping with quite a few of the fireworks on the track today and tonight. And now celebrating in front of the grandstands for all the fans to enjoy. What a race they've been able to see here at Daytona. Right on the finish line. He's climbing out of the car as he's doing the burnout. Back down to the apron. He's going to climb out and have a better listen to the roar of the crowd. Look at the celebration on top of the car.
How about that Ricky Stenhouse wins the last 2 restrictor plate races, wins it at Talladega, and wins it here tonight at Daytona, taking his helmet off after the big celebration. Ricky, were you surprised that the 38 left that bottom open for you?
Yeah, it's tough out there. I left the bottom open for the 13, and I thought I gave the race away there, but wow, these guys, I kept my Talladega car, told them to build a new one. They built a 5th, 3rd, 4th that was really fast. We won the Firecracker 400, man, that's awesome. Been coming down here since 2008. Came in 2006, one time with Bobby Hamilton Jr. And it's cool that we put it in victory lane, got our 2nd win this year.
What do you want to say to these fans? They're hearing you right now, Ricky.
Love it! Thank you for coming out here. Everybody in NASCAR. Woo! America, 1776. We are the champs.
All right, we'll see you in victory lane, all right?
Thank you.
All right, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. celebrating on the start-finish line, obviously celebrating with the fans as well, Rick.